North America. We will have 31 new vehicles with IC-based engines, powertrains. So it means it could be electrified vehicles, it could be full internal combustion engine vehicles. We will have 45 new BEVs, so battery electric vehicles. In the next 7 years, we will see 45 new models coming in, 78% of them being light trucks. In the North American definition, light trucks are crossovers, SUVs, and pickup trucks. And if we look at the terminated nameplates, so it means the vehicles that car makers have decided to cut off of their portfolio. 25 models have been terminated, terminated. Of them, only 36% of light trucks. And the canceled nameplates, which means the vehicles that we could see in the OEM forecasts or product portfolio for the years to come, 13 of them have been canceled between the beginning of the year and August. So this means that some car makers have decided not to launch new vehicles or to reshuffle a little bit their portfolio, seeing the situation with COVID. Moving now to just something that is very important, I think, to really understand what is the structure of the market. And coming from Europe, I'm thinking about our 7 startups today, and the structure of the market in North America is very different from the one in Europe. If you look on the left side, the body type, which means the silhouette of the vehicles, you see that in North America, the production here is about 70 to 75% in 2026 made of light trucks. So once again, crossovers, SUVs, and pickups. This in Europe, SUVs only and crossovers, as pickups are not produced in Europe. You see that these numbers are going from 39 to 44%. So we're reaching slowly to half of the market. We're not there yet, but the conventional vehicles, the sedans, are making a lot more shares on the market in Europe. So this is really where the structure of the market is really different. Also, in terms of segment, there's a shift in one segment difference between North America and Europe. The A segment is non-existent here in North America, where in Europe it's about 3 to 4% of the market, which is quite comparable to what the B segment, the subcompact cars, are doing in North America. A few years back, we had the Ford Fiesta and a few other vehicles that are very popular in Europe. We have no more of those vehicles. We have some small crossovers in North America, but not a lot though of the small hatchbacks and urban cars that you see in Europe. So there's really a shift here if you look at the market, where the C segment and below is barely making 30%, 35% of the market in North America, where it's trusting over 70% in Europe. So the market, the heart of the market in North America, is really on the mid-size and full-size segment. So everything that is D segment and above is making most of the market here. And in terms of positioning, what our market here in North America is how is it is different is that we have only 15% of the sales that are made of luxury brands or premium brands, as they are called in Europe. Compared to twice more in Europe, where the BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Lexus, and so on are trusting about 30% of the market or even more. So 1/3 of the market is now premium cars in Europe, where it's barely about 14 to 15%. This is in production, but in sales also we are very close to that. So the production and sales are very highly correlated if you look at regions. And right now the market is evolving differently, because in Europe, if you look at the premium car makers, they are trusting the larger segments of the market. So it gives them an advantage on the market on the competitive perspective. In North America, in every segment where the premium brands are, they are facing also competition from volume brands. And to close this presentation on another note, and following what Trevor was telling you about electrification, there is some differences between Europe and US. If you look at the two charts, you see that the adoption of EVs is really different for the next 5 to 7 years. There are 3 different periods that we are looking at in terms of electrification. We are in the phase 1, where we see the lithium-ion vehicles now being growing in the market. And but we are still at the first generation of that kind of technology. We expect the second generation really to be the solid-state batteries that are expected by 2026, 2028. And those could really help the market ramping up even faster than it will in the years to come. And by 2035, we expect more diverse technologies around electrification and also fuel cell vehicles. And what it shows also, if you look at the two charts from North America and Europe, is that the electrification is not driven by the same elements. In North America, everything is driven by the technology itself. So technology adoption and technology is resetting the pace for the adoption of EVs. In Europe, it's much more a regulatory thing that is driving the adoption of EVs. So you see that MHEVs, mild hybrids that are using 48-volt solutions, are going to grow a lot faster in Europe than they will be. It does not show in North America what will be the impact of the latest decision from California. We've seen that last week, California made the decision to go for all electrified vehicles by 2035, which means everything plug-in from BEVs to plug-in hybrids. And those, this kind of decision, if it's followed by other states, could really set a new trend for adoption in North America. So there will be also an influence on the regulations, of course, but the market is much more driven by the technology itself, and this is how the adoption of EVs and the market will grow. So just to summarize some of the elements here, we see that North American and European market, even though they look a lot the same when you look at the cars and you look at the vehicles, but there are some major differences in terms of segment, in terms of technology adoption, and also in terms of what is the recovery that we can expect. US and North America are usually catching up quite faster. The crises are hitting the market harder usually, but the market is starting up faster. Where in Europe, you see crisis hitting the markets where the market is going down, but there's a lot of support from the governments to ease the crisis, and therefore the startovers are usually a little slower due to anticipated sales under government incentives. So that's really some of the key takeovers here that we can think of when we look at the different markets. Thank you very much. George, I can.
Thank you very much, Bertrand. This was very informative. Appreciate very much your insight on the market and its evolution as of late. I think I will pass on the mic to Trevor, but we're going to now present our laureates of the Ubimobility program, and we're very proud to present these companies and their technology, and we're going to start with Lextan.
So hello everyone. Do I have to start my screen? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. So
Perfect.
So hello to you all. I guess it's working now. It's an honor to open this speech session, and I'm going to start with a question. Is the challenge of last mile delivery something that concerns you? Because at Lextan, it concerns us. Oops. Yes. We believe it is a critical step for all online businesses today. There are 4 factors concerning last mile delivery moving forward. First, it must become more sustainable. It must contribute to the well-being of citizens around delivery routes. It needs to adapt to the explosion of demand due to the online delivery boom, and all this in a post-COVID period where living together must be reinvented. We are not alone working on this. Many companies are working on electric and fully autonomous delivery vehicles exactly for these reasons. But if on autopilot, driving on an highway is relatively easy, it is not in a city. Rodney Brooks, a well-known researcher in robotics at the MIT, said, "The big problem with self-driving cars is people." So, what is exactly the problem? Drivers and pedestrians need to see each other. Do you know that 8 out of 10 people seek eye contact with the driver before they cross the street? This proves a strong need of social interaction between a human driver and other people into socialized areas. Then our idea is this delivery vehicle, the Autopod, where people can establish eye contact with a driver who is driving remotely. Cheaper and simpler, a semi-autonomous autopilot is used when it is possible. And the rest of time, we use the most powerful intelligence existing today, which is still the human brain. Our solution is a mix of drone-style autonomous transport and human operations to deliver the most flexible and cost-effective solution in urban delivery for online businesses. We call it the Driver Telepresence. Autopod is fully electric and connected to the 5G network to operate our system. Its design fits perfectly with most delivery services in city centers or pedestrian areas. It is ultra-compact and has a large load capacity. It is a perfect balance between delivery performance and good living in city. Our driver telepresence system allows a remote driver to teleport himself inside the vehicle each time it is required. It reproduces the visual and sound presence of the driver to make people able to naturally interact with him. The driver operates from a driving unit as if he was on board. Our solution has been patented and it is labelized French Mobility and Deep Tech. From now, the driver is not anymore able to drive only one vehicle per day. He can manage alternatively a fleet of autopods spread on a wide area. My name is Marc Lambert. I have a strong experience in the digital industry. I'm the author of the patents behind the creation of Lexten I initiated 3 years ago. With me, Frédéric Pességuier and Pascal Boisson bring also a strong experience, respectively, in the microelectronics and the industry of transport. We are supported by many French institutions, and we raised funds to finance the development of our pre-seed stage. We are really pleased to be part of Ubimobility 2020. We are here to meet the technological leaders in autonomous driving and 5G. Also, we want to challenge our vision with American society. And we aim to work with those who want to invent the last mile delivery of tomorrow. So join us in reinventing last mile delivery. Thank you everyone for your attention.
Thank you very much, Marc, for your presentation of your company and technology. And we're glad to introduce to you another company, the company XBlue, which is going to be presented by Jean-Baptiste Lacambre. And we're glad to have Jean-Baptiste present XBlue.
Hello, George. Thank you for the introduction. So my name, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Jean-Baptiste Lacambre, and I am in charge of the R&D facility at the Denver office of XBlue. XBlue is a positioning and navigation company that has been providing solutions from the depths of the ocean to the outer space for more than 30 years. We've been partnering with major companies worldwide to supply solutions to localize all types of autonomous vehicles. For instance, autonomous vehicles, autonomous underwater vehicles to localize them on top of pipelines by 6,000 meter depth with a precision that is the size of the width of a lane of a roadway, or to keep a satellite on a specific orbit for more than 13 years and continuous use. Today, we've noticed that the transportation industry is facing the same challenges we already faced in other environments. So our challenge is to bring this expertise to the automotive world. In an ideal world, positioning would be easy. We could use the sensors already provided on a car, like GPS, LiDAR, and radar, and those sensors would provide a very precise and reliable position 100% of the time. And it would cost basically nothing. But we know it's not the case. In reality, GPS can be lost, for instance, in a tunnel or in a urban canyon. LiDAR, radar can be blinded depending on the environmental condition, which means they cannot be available on a continuous use. What more and more customers tell us today is that the solution will depend on the use case. The navigation solution for a truck company operating on a highway will not be the same as the solution for a robotaxi operated in San Francisco, for instance. However, all use cases have the same challenges to face. The first challenge is how can you ensure that you have a correct position 100% of the time? In addition, there's a lot of sensors that exist today, a lot of technology, prices, performance, and it's very difficult to know which one to choose. So the second challenge is how to select the best set of sensors for a specific application. How do I define the best ratio in terms of price, performance, reliability, etc., etc.? And finally, most of the time, the position will be given by various sensors, and all of them will differ from the correct position. So the third challenge is how to compute the best position with that information. How can you assess the precision and reliability of the information that is provided by you to you, and how do you make sure that you get that information reliable in all conditions? At XBlue, we answer all those challenges with a turnkey solution based on two elements: a set of gyrometers and accelerometers, called an IMU, that provide measurement on a continuous use and that are independent from the environment, making sure that we can provide a position 100% of the time. A data fusion algorithm based on those sensors, but also able to interact with any sensor available in the car, GPS, radar, and so on, to make sure that you get the best solution. This solution is called an INS, or inertial navigation system. And because we designed all the part of the product, from the gyro, from the accelerometer, from the sensors to the algorithm, we can design the right system for any application. Why does it matter? As I said, inertial sensor is the only one who can provide continuous data at all time in all conditions. Data fusion algorithm provides the best possible solution and assess its quality. And because an INS ensures redundancy with other sensors, INS with data fusion precision indicators are extremely reliable. For instance, in a city with high building, the GPS will sometimes provide a position that's tens of meters away from the truth and with no warning. An INS will be able to detect that and provide the right position. Using this core technology, we have developed a complete line of products that could be integrated at 3 levels. During the R&D stage, many of our customers use our high-grade INS as golden samples to understand the performance and limits of all the sensors that they are using. The INS provides a reference trajectory that is much more precise than any other sensor, allowing understanding the performance of those sensors in a real-life environment, not only in lab conditions. This is extremely important to select the right sensor for a given platform and increase the time to market of a product. That's what we call unveiling the black box. Also, many customers use our product to do HD mapping before operating their vehicles. And finally, our products are used to operate autonomous vehicles to make sure that they have a precise and reliable position 100% of the time. Today, we have solutions for commercial vehicles, but we are already working on solutions for retail application. Automotive industry is very competitive, and company needs to be on the edge from the R&D stage to the production stage. With our 30 years of experience, we know we can help tackling the position challenges. At XBlue, we do the sensor and the data fusion algorithm, so we can fulfill those needs. And we already have a complete line of products for each of those applications. We solve the problem in other markets with similar needs but different environment. So thank you for your attention here. I would be happy to answer any questions the audience may have.
Thank you very much, Jean-Baptiste, for this presentation. And as I indicated earlier, you can put your Q&A using the button at the bottom of your screen, and the companies will answer question at the end of the presentation. So now we will have X company present.
Hi, my name is Bruno, and today I'm going to talk to you about X Technologies, a company I started in March 2019 in Paris, France. So I started the company with Arnaud de la Fortelle, a renowned researcher who has been in the autonomous driving field for almost 20 years, and Etienne Bouton, a former private banker who brings tremendous financial skills to our team. The idea behind teaming up with Etienne and Arnaud was to build a team that have the core competencies to build a strong deep tech company in this modern era. Autonomous driving has been a hot topic for the past 10 years, bringing a lot of attention in the media and a lot of resources in the field, such as big investment from big corporates. And the main problem that we have identified that caused the delay of self-driving car advent is the problem that the R&D dev team has to access, identify, and organize big data. It's highly complex, very capital intensive, time consuming, and unsustainable for the planet. So, to tackle this problem, we have designed a solution in 4 steps that can help the R&D teams identify more effectively the relevant data. So it starts with detecting the important situation and then certifying them on the private blockchain to ensure the immutability of the data. Then you have a processing in the cloud, and then the data is distributed among the teams so they can work on artificial intelligence, on data library, and etc. Our solution is manifested by a cloud-based software that we have designed from the ground up. We made it easy for the R&D engineers to plug their software environment to our platform so they can access the data. They can plug any sensors from any vehicle that they're working on. As you can see, you can easily log in, see what the camera sees, so they can get the data, organize the data, identify the most relevant data, and made it more effective when they work on data sets that can be used for artificial intelligence. Our business model is based on a subscription fee per month per vehicle. We believe that in 2021, there will be around 9,000 R&D vehicles around the world that works on autonomous driving. And we believe that if we get 1% of this market, we can generate around $3 million. The very interesting things about this market is the R&D test vehicles are just the tip of the iceberg. What we want is to be able to implement our solution in every car on the road that can handle a camera or multiple sensors and have a little bit of computing power. This is already the case with high-end vehicles like Mercedes, Porsche, BMWs. We believe that if we get into this market, the opportunity can be very huge. As you can see, we have 3 main competitors that all has started their solution in 2019 like us. You have 2 German companies, Peregrine Technologies, SIA Search, and you have 1 American company, which is Renovo Auto. We believe that with our strategy of having an innovative tech stack with blockchain and a friendly approach to the US market, we can really make a difference with those competitors. These bring us here. After financing our pre-seed, what we are looking for from September 2020 is corporate partners that wants to make proof of concept of our solution that handles smart data, so we can have significant results by the end of the year and really enter the year of 2021 with the ability to raise seed funding of around 2 to 3 million and launch a very ambitious go-to-market strategy where we'll be able to implement our solution in mini cars.
Thank you very much, X, for this presentation. I'm glad right now to introduce to you iRider and Frederick, who's going to present the technology and the products developed by his company. So, Frederick, whenever you're ready. Thank you.
Good morning, George. Can you hear me and can you see my
screen? Very well. Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay, and can you see my screen?
Yes.
Wonderful.
You can speak just slightly louder, but it will be perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So good morning, everyone. My name is Frederick Delahaye. I am the co-founder and CEO of iRider. We are a startup based out of Le Mans in France, and we've developed the first connected bike platform for e-bike, moped, and motorcycle OEMs. So there is a revolution on the way now in Europe and soon in the US. E-bikes, mopeds, and motorcycles are reshaping the transportation of people and goods. The numbers are spectacular. 2020 will be seen as a watershed year. There's going to be 100 million new vehicles sold this year, and projections show that this number could reach 350 million by 2030. Whether people want to own or share vehicles, the predictions are huge. More than half of goods are predicted to be delivered by powered two-wheeler fleets in 2023. Drivers for this revolution are the rapid population growth globally, environmental sustainability, social distancing, and good deliveries. But revolutions do not come without challenges, and obviously safety is the number one. It's 35 times more dangerous to ride than drive. 10,000 riders die every year in the US and in Europe, and more than 300,000 globally. And 200,000 are seriously injured in the US and in Europe every year. Accident scenario statistics from the European Commission show that 70% of fatal accidents for motorcycles are caused by collisions with other vehicles, mostly cars who didn't see the bikes, and that 64% of e-bikes accidents happen at junctions. Factors of accidents are multiple and depend on the context and the behavior. Wet roads, fatigue are some of these factors, but at the end, over 90% of these accidents are human errors. And the post-COVID e-bike boom brings new unexperienced riders on the roads. Early indications in Paris, for instance, show that accidents have increased by 60% just in the months of August 2020 versus 2019. We believe technology, artificial intelligence, and software is the answer to rider safety issues. We deliver computer vision, predictive safety, and connected services to those on the roads who need it the most. And we enable the intelligent transport system by integrating bikes into the smart city. This video shows our technology integrated on an e-bike designed by Fuel. Fuel is a US, Wisconsin-based mobility company. We detect, classify, and track objects and provide rear-view digital assistance, all in real time. Predictive warnings are based on behavioral, including the rider's fatigue, and contextual analysis. They are presented in the form of intuitive visual information in the digital cockpit, but they can also come by voice and in-eyes displays and provide a true eyes-on-the-road HMI experience. Our platform includes all the hardware, software, cloud, and AI components needed for OEMs to build, scale, and monetize safe and smart bike-connected programs. Our platform is hybrid, embedded, and connected, and consolidates all applications at the same place. It's built of 5 modules: infotainment and digital life perception systems, HMI, bike intelligence, and data monetizations. And then our AI models analyze and interpret the data from these modules and translate them into valuable and actionable insights. We are delivering on the augmented riding promise. Before, during, and after the ride, we are bringing a new user experience. During the ride, predictive safety features are powered. For example, our speed limit management system recommends the right speed to the rider with information collected from navigation, computer vision, in case the road signal is temporary, for instance, fatigue and stress, weather condition, or the level of danger of the area. Our predictive safety features meet the roadmap of the Connected Motorcycles Consortium, And in case something happens, our video-based accident suspicion alert shorten the rescue time with valuable information that can make a big difference. And even the bike itself is video protected in case of theft or damage, for instance. We also use our AI models to provide services. We enable UBI, for instance, by providing scoring information to insurance companies so riders can enjoy new pay as or when, for instance, ride models. Our cloud platform unlocks the value of data for OEMs, can provide a new digital experience to their customers. We are filling the gap. Right now, the most advanced solution on the market is phone-based and can only provide navigation and very limited tracking functionalities. Core safety applications require real-time embedded computing capabilities, and they are called very loudly by the motorcycle industry and regulators. And what's more, to generate valuable services, you need to acquire bike data in real time. Edge computing enables consolidation, data fusion, and the ability to perform locally the critical safety functions. We acquire data from 4 different data sources. From the bike, we process perception systems, embedded navigations, and all the CAN information. From the rider's phone and the cloud, we process infotainment and digital life. From the rider's wearable, we acquire physiological information. We use the cloud to provide road intelligence and, of course, to update our AI models. We also optimize wireless communications and edge computing capabilities to ensure safety-critical operations run independently from the connectivity status, while keeping data plans under strict control. And the fourth source of data will be the smart city and other vehicles when V2X technologies are available. The connected bike platform is an emerging market. Recently, a report shows that this is going to be a 1 billion total available market by 2027 for motorcycles only, with a compounded annual rate of 45%. And when we add e-bikes and mopeds, the total available market opportunity should reach 4 billion by 2030. Drivers for growth are safe, real-time safety, rider assistance services such as UBI, and the need for riders to communicate with other vehicles, including autonomous cars. We're also preparing the future by connecting bikes to everything, and that will be made possible by 5G and C-V2X technology. Among the strategic milestones we've achieved, we've been selected as a member in the European consortium to discuss and agree with car makers and tier ones on V2X standard to integrate bikes in a smart city. After 2 years of R&D and collaboration with some global tech leaders and OEMs, we're just about to come out of stealth and let the world know about augmented riding. We are in the process of planning an event at the end of November to introduce to the world the first AI-powered e-bike with fuel that will hit the market mid-2021. We're starting the industrialization phase of our platform. And of course, we have other commercial agreements and partnerships in the making. Thank you very much for your attention. Please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to engage with you.
Thank you very much, Frédéric, for this great presentation on your very exciting new technology. And I think we're ready to present Kipsum. And
yes.
Philippe Chevalier was going to present his company and the technology they're developing.
Okay, hi, Josh, can you hear me well?
Very well, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So thank you to all. First of all, of course, thanks to Business France and all the partners today. And I'm happy to introduce you Kipsum and our energy optimizer. As an introduction, in your EV project, what do you want to improve? Vehicle range is clearly a point of focus for each car manufacturer and tier one supplier. Second question, in this case, what do you need to reduce? Of course, power consumption, and especially the ones that are not related to traction performances. This is exactly where Kipsum is working, and it is what we are offering to you today. By working with Kipsum, you will bring 3 added values in your EV project. First, we'll bring our patented tool to really optimize design and sizing in early phase. We'll define optimized integration of heat pump and all other devices to bring thermal comfort to passenger. Secondly, we will define in real time optimum and predictive control with our artificial intelligence model, integrated in the EV software or in real time with cloud. Benefit will be the optimal comfort desired by passengers but with minimal power consumption. Third, we'll bring recommendation to the passenger to find best match between comfort and range. At the end, a benefit of 20% of comfort consumption in summer and winter conditions. The key principle of our technology is based on the understanding of the behavior of the system, vehicle, passengers, and driver, and the heating and cooling devices. The principle relies on physics-based modeling and machine learning methods, using artificial intelligence with an optimized way the system is functioning. Then, we will bring to you the best tool to minimize the consumption and ensure a real-time control of all comfort devices based on cloud computing and IoT. Through a mobile and driver screen app, all the results in terms of energy saving and autonomy increase are accessible. This could lead to 7 to 15% of autonomous range increase, meaning an additional 30 miles range for a C-type vehicle with 100 kilowatt-hour battery. You can now do Detroit-Louisville. Our expertise and the benefit of our technology have been attested by some of the most renowned experts in the field, as expressed by Roch El-Khoury, PhD and head of electrification department at VDECOM, which is a famous research center in France. Our team has been able to propose concrete and disruptive solutions to open questions of research and innovation. You can question who are the members of the team. I'm Philippe Chevalier, and I am the general manager of Kipson with more than 16 years of experience in railway and automotive. Our president is Rami Aboaid, is a PhD in energy studies with 9 years of experience in railway industry. Finally, Bruno Vallet is our CTO and PhD in mathematics, 15 years of experience in research and academia. We already have major firms in our customer portfolio, like Renault and VDECOM. As a conclusion, we are ready to work with car manufacturer and tier 1 supplier. I heard in the introduction that you are looking for more software in the Michigan. And clearly, we are ready to integrate our solution, which is highly service proven in buildings to EV projects. Let's talk together and define a proof of concept and go more deeper into technical topics. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Philippe, for this, again, perfect presentation of your capabilities and the technology developed by Kipson. We're ready to welcome Bertrand Stellandre from Epic and POC, who's going to present us the company and what they're developing at Epic and POC. Bertrand, it's up to you.
Yeah, sure. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
We can not see you. We can hear you, but we cannot see you yet.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, is it better?
Perfect.
Perfect. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending this Ubimobility session. I'm Bertrand Stellandre, one of the co-founder and CEO of Epic and POC, based in France. Epic and POC provide software to create smart products. That means a consumer-centric system and products involving digital technology and various features, connectivity, infotainment, and user experience. We've entered the era of smart cars, connected cars that now need to adapt to our new usages. It means that electronic and software become keys. This is a revolution for automotive, and it's transforming the car object into a system that now needs a revolution of software. As Trevor said at the beginning of this conference, software will soon represent 50% of the vehicle value. This is also the new automotive nightmare. How to deal with the 100 millions of code lines to run a modern vehicle. OEM have to face new challenges, how to specify the software, to design and test it when it's becoming so complex. And even more, how to adapt to the never-ending changes of customer needs. We are far from the end of this increasing complexity. Today, the smart cars are still stupid and old-fashioned. Our smartphones are 2 generations ahead of the embedded infotainment systems, and the 100 electronic components on board are often just monotasking. The future smart car need to nicely bridge technologies with users into a simple, meaningful, and exciting experience. We propose to help OEMs Tier 1 to become experience maker, addressing the challenges for simultaneous user-centric creation and robust engineering, to innovate, integrate technologies from any maturity level, to test, having an always representative setup to validate the user experience, and share, enable engineering team, marketing team, and design team to work to collaborate together using their own iterative or stage gating process. At Epic and POC, we start from your use cases and all your technical components. The team generates your smart products with a quick prototyping to test from sprint 1. To make so, we use our own methodology and IO Suite. It's a toolbox to help you to generate the software for embedded and connected applications. What are the main technical principles of the technology? We apply 3 concepts similar to the Lego architecture to break the complexity of software and system. Generation is a low-code principle you just describe with a standardized language for automatic code generation. Distribution, the system is split in a collection of as many as needed bricks. Autonomous bricks are microservices having all the same structure with 3 layers: the logic, use contract, honor contract with other components, and powered by the same engine. Interoperability, we use an open service-oriented architecture framework that acts as a bus between all components. The IO Suite is a toolbox with multiple assets. First, the IO generator is a studio to model and generate new bricks by scripting the logic or integrating models from your existing model-based design tool. 3 kinds of bricks have a specific usage: smart agents that operate other bricks to manage scenario and complex experience, specific microservice to interface with your component from any of your supplier or technology provider, and graphic user interfaces with autocodec from your existing graphic tools. To speed up your development, we have already assembled a first relevant group of bricks aimed to multi-user experience: audio management, video management, voice control, script, haptic, lighting, any HMI component. You can combine this ready-to-use component for immediate project implementation. The framework connects the bricks through their contracts and makes the embedded software compatible with your target platform and operating system. We created Epic and POC in 2018 as 8 former employees from a major automotive Tier 1, a famous one located in Michigan, was Visteon, and we used to develop interior, infotainment, and HMI for production models, technology demonstration vehicle, and concept cars. During the last 2 years, Epic and POC has powered more than 20 setups for smart cars to smart home, orchestrating digital devices, human-machine interfaces, and connected services for major OEM like Nissan or big Tier 1 like Faurecia or Novares or others. From our experience, we already managed to reduce by 30% the timing and cost of project while providing design freedom with specification on the go. To empower our customers and help to begin the product development from start, we will offer by the end of the year the first off-the-shelf experience kit for automotive cockpit and dedicated to innovators and designers. The user experience is key to your customers. This is a why for any brand and the inevitable process to differentiate from the competition. So we are really excited to collaborate with you to create your epic user experience with your technologies and enable your product to meet the market and customers. Thank you very much for listening, and we're happy to answer all your questions at the end of the session.
Thank you very much, Bertrand, and for this excellent presentation. If Trevor is ready, I will let him take over the Q&A portion of this webinar. Trevor?
Yes, I'm back.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you very, very much for presenting and telling your stories. The technology that you brought to us today is going to change the world. And it's not just going to be an auto, as I mentioned earlier. These are foundational technologies that'll stretch across air, land, space, and sea. So the way that I'm going to do questions is to open it up to anyone who wants to answer. That's probably the most efficient, most meaningful way to spend this time together. So with that, I'd like to understand, and I'm sure this is a presentation you've been giving for more than 8 to 10 months in some cases, but it's also a presentation you've probably had to change drastically since March 13th because of the pandemic and how people are going to be using things like shared mobility, micro-mobility going forward. So tell me how COVID has impacted your business model. And furthermore, what is now your path to profitability and new customers and achieving scale? I will take anyone, any answer.
Gentlemen,
Maybe Bertrand from Epic and Poc, I can answer this one. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously the COVID has impacted us a lot because we focused our activity on the last 2 years on really supporting innovation from our OEMs and Tier 1, and specifically to present to major shows like CES that has been cancelled today. And so we are really making a pivot really to focus on really developing product and innovation to be developed not only driven by big shows, but driven by evolution of mobility and evolution of the society.
Anyone else?
Yes, Trevor, thank you for this question because it's so first it's very hard to answer because nobody knows actually. On our side, we see the change, the huge change on the strategy of autonomous driving due to the COVID period. And actually, before the COVID, everybody worked a lot on the convergence of the mobility to share the mobility as a service. And today, with the obligation to be to walk alone, to be separated, it's very difficult to continue with the same objective or with the same logic. And then for the mobility of people, the COVID will change almost everything in the trend. On the contrary, for the mobility of goods, I'm sure that it will increase, it will accelerate the growth of autonomous delivery, and perhaps it will be a chance for us at Lextan, perhaps not, I don't know, but we will see. But I'm sure in any case that we will need to reinvent the way to deliver the goods for everyone. And for that, I guess then in 5 years, we will have a totally different way to consume.
Yeah. You bring up an interesting point that I think we can elaborate on a bit more. Even before the pandemic, we were beginning to see shifts away from passenger robotaxi investments, starting in places like Silicon Valley, and shifting more into the mobility of goods. Given the business case, the cost savings around logistics, the rise of Amazon, larger companies, new innovations on smart infrastructure. And now we're seeing pretty massive investments in things like autonomous trucking middle mile, last mile, long haul delivery. Talk a bit about how that shift has impacted your business, or maybe you set out to focus on passenger, but as you're seeing things go, similar to how a company like Aurora Innovation started as a sort of a passenger autonomous stack based company, they've now fully pivoted into autonomous trucking and are doing very well. So anything anyone can provide me on sort of this shift and how it's impacted your business?
I am Jean-Baptiste Lacombe from iXblue. What we see is, you're totally right. I mean, there's a big shift toward transportation of goods. And we've seen in the last years, a lot of investment in the trucking industry, truck platooning and so on. Now, what we feel is that the last mile delivery becomes a hotter subject than it used to be, and maybe that's part of the COVID. For me, the big impact is that the economic equation is not the same for commercial goods and passenger transportation. And that may, the impact is that the future shuttle or autonomous vehicle may be a little bit more expensive than what we thought before. What we saw in the past is people coming to us asking for very, very, very cheap sensors. And today they realize that using very, very, very cheap sensors, they're not going to be able to provide the service that they need. So I think it could make things faster because people will be able to, companies will be able to build a little bit more expensive vehicles. And so with the current technology and prices, and provide the solution faster. So that's the way I see that the shift toward goods and food delivery will allow to have faster faster new products because of a different economical equation.
It's really insightful. Does anyone else have a point they'd like to make here on the topic?
This is Frederick from iRider. So what we see in Europe is a little bit different from what we see in the US post-COVID. Larger cities in Europe are giving more and more space to e-bikes, mopeds, motorcycles. In fact, in some cities like Brussels or Paris, the very, very center of the city is now forbidden for cars. It is having a great impact on our opportunity in our business, obviously, because this creates more need for safety. But when it comes to goods transportation as well, we see more and more requests for fleets for good deliveries, more interest for UBI linked to fleet users. So this is, I mean, really booming our opportunity. It's not yet what you see in the US, clearly, but in 6 months, cities in Europe have changed in an incredible way.
Great. So we do have a question coming in from the audience, Jean-Pierre. I will read it verbatim as it's written, and I will let anyone who feels the urge to respond. All right, so let's see what we got here. We have this question. How do you convince users tracking or monitoring products or investors while their constitution/privacy is still respected? Basically what this question is referring to is the big brother stigma. Can some of the companies on the line talk about that?
So yeah, I can try to answer, or I can give my
data. The data is very much a part of each one of the each one of the companies here on stage of your future. So I think it's an important question.
So how do you convince a user of tracking or monitoring products? Actually, today there is a big challenge, many big challenges front of us. We need to reach the sustainability for everyone. We need to improve the security. We need to improve the cost of the service, and at the end, we need mainly to improve the service itself. Just because the end customer need and wants a better service. So to achieve that, today with the different organizations experimented during the last decades, we arrived to something that it cannot improve anymore. Then we believe, and we are not alone to believe that the new technologies are going to make it possible, are going to help the way to optimize the whole chain and the service to improve everything in some time. The counterparty is to collect data and to use them. For this problem, because it is a problem, it is really different between Europe and US. In Europe, we have many laws making all the company working with personal data to take care about the privacy. Yeah. In US, actually, I don't know. I don't have the knowledge for that, but I know that it's not the same level of security and regulation on the data. And then, for sure, there is a strong difference between the two continents. But in any case, if we believe in the technology and in its power to change the things, it will make it possible with this technology to improve all the criteria I explained before.
All right, well, thank you so much. So we've run up on our time today. I really appreciate everyone being a part of it. I want to turn it back over to George and
Thank you very much, Trevor. So quick next steps, we will follow up with all of you with an email with a link to the presentation of today and also information on how to reach our panelists and also our startups. And we will also try to answer some of the questions that were not answered due to time in this email. We would like to again thank all the speakers and the panelists as well as the startup, but also we would like to thank very much everyone who attended today. And again, thank you very much for your participation, and we look forward to further discussions. Thank you all, and good afternoon, good morning, and good afternoon for people in Europe.